There are so many more ways that historians can communicate the findings of their research these days. In the academy, they're called non-traditional outputs. And it's, that's an accurate term for it because they haven't been done in the past, particularly well or often by academics. So they are non-traditional, they're unorthodox. But I hope that we see a time where those non-traditional outputs are seen as being of equal merit with the traditional outputs. And I don't think we're there yet. I think they're still seen as being a sideline, something that you might do to entertain yourself or to entertain audiences, that they're about attracting attention to yourself and to your university, rather than actually a very essential form of what an historian or any academic can do, which is to show the relevance and the interest of the research they're doing to a much wider population. That process, I think, is not just about information delivery. So I've got this knowledge and I want to give it to you. And the you that I want to give it to is not you little group over here who I used to give it to, but you much bigger group. But still the same idea that there's a kind of expert who is handing out the pearls of their wisdom. I also think that there's a democratising process involved in that wider spread of knowledge, so that the more people you tell the story that you found to, the more people feel empowered to tell their story back to you as well. And I know that because I've seen it happen. I've seen the number of emails that I get from people who have read my book, who want to tell me their story, who want to tell me about their descendant and what they did in the gold rush, or who want to use the information that's in my book as a grounding for the creative response that they want to make. So that book has already, in the last 5 years since its publication, been the basis for a number of songs, for a couple of plays, for a White Night exhibition in Ballarat this year, a sound and light show extravaganza, for a fictional history book. So I know this because the authors and the creators and the makers of these works tell me so. And that's incredibly gratifying to feel like not only did they find the story interesting, engaging, but it gave them the confidence or the encouragement or the spark, the initiative to go on and tell their own stories in their own ways. And so that to me is part of the creative dynamic of communicating to a wider audience. We should be able to write a log line. A log line is what a television series will sum up the entire series in one line. This is what the next 13 episodes are going to be about. We probably should all be able to do that, because we should be clear enough of our intentions and we should have a strong enough sense of what our story is to be able to just boil it down to that one sentence. But it is incredibly hard, partly because we as academics are so defensive. We're so taught to dot our I's, cross our T's, never say anything unless you can reference that 5 people have said it before you, and that you can show your reading audience that you've done your reading. But anybody who publishes their thesis, what they'll know is that the first thing that any publisher is going to get them to do is take out everything that anybody else has said and just say what you've got to say. It's a confronting moment, because you are already in a state where, as Greg Denning used to say, academics imagine 1,000 foes. That's our subject position. We're expecting criticism and attack. And so if you go out there into that battle so exposed, so unarmed, you're just expecting to get shot down. What I'd like to really change, in a sense, is that idea that what we're doing is going out to battle, particularly against other academics. I think that we can hold each other in mind and in heart and trust each other and our audiences a lot more.